And we are live. Hello, homemakers. I am so glad to see you tonight. Welcome to the chat or the replay, depending upon where you are coming in from. Tonight, we are addressing I clean all the time, but my house is still a mess. What's the problem and what's the solution? We'll dive into that tonight, and we'll also hear a little bit of a snippet that I did of an interview with Karen from This Made Her Mom. She'll have a few tips to add that might prove useful. And I've also got some happy mail to share, and also a reminder that Teddy Blake is sponsoring us for one more episode. But before we get into that, welcome to Homemaking with Purpose, where we bring to you the best ideas, interviews, and information for today's homemaker. I am Denise Jordan, your host, and I am so glad that you could join us. And tonight's episode is brought to us by, or shall I say, is co-sponsored by Teddy Blake of New York. Teddy Blake Luxury Handbags. Teddy Blake creates handbag designs for every style choice. That means there's a one for you, your mom, and your sister. They are made by experienced craftsmen using premium Italian leather. They offer high quality design, and they are affordable luxury handbags for all of you. And they are continuing a big sale for after Mother's Day. And we also have our sponsor of Apron Diva. Pretty and practical. We believe that that an apron is a homemaker's best accessory. And tonight we continue our anniversary celebration. For the whole month of May, we're celebrating our first anniversary. And this week we are having surprise boxes. So surprise box number 1 is worth $50, but it's going to go for $35. And surprise box number 2 is worth $45, and it's going to go for $31. Can't tell you what's in it because, of course, it is a surprise. So we have limited quantity of those. So be sure to check us out at www.aprondiva.com. All right, so we have everybody jumping in to join us tonight. And I think we've got a really good topic that's going on tonight. And I tell you what, I'm even going to be part of tonight's story. So there's that. So let's get into it. We are going to be following up on last week's topic, the simplest morning routine ever. And there were 2 themes that kind of went throughout that particular show. Theme number 1 was to give yourself grace. To give yourself grace. And then theme number 2 was to set priorities. If you missed last week's show, you truly missed a treat. You've got to go back and pick it up. We had Stephanie on from The Secret Slob, and she was amazing. Excuse me. She was truly amazing. So let's see who's with us tonight before I get started. We've got Super at 60. Hello. How are you, Darlene? I am so glad you're here tonight. Karen, thank you for joining me. Jerry, glad to have you here. And thank you, Jerry. Yes, guys, don't forget to hit the like button for the host. Blue Skies, thank you for joining us. Patricia, Allie Oakley, thank you for joining us as well. Artful Cooking with Dawn. Nancy, I think it's been a minute since you've been on. It's good to see you. Hey, Danita. And we are at www.aprondiva.com. Congratulations. Thank you, Nancy. I appreciate that. And yes, so that's where we are. And Erica says hello. So thank you guys for greeting me. And now we're going to get into it. So let me start with a snippet from Karen's interview. Now, I interviewed Karen about 10 months ago. But one of the things that she said in her interview, I thought was apropos for what I wanted to kind of focus on tonight. And one of the things that she said, well, I'll let you hear it. So let me share this screen and I'll pull that up. And let's make sure I do this right too. No, not that one. This one. All right, so now this is just a little bit of the interview. On tonight's episode of Traditional Homemaker Live Q&A, we are going to get into what life is like for a traditional homemaker, Karen of This Mayor Mom. Karen's been a traditional homemaker for more than 30 years, so she has a lot to offer and a lot to say. So what was life like with 7 children at home? How did you keep it all together?
So the truth is, I didn't always keep it all together. I still don't always keep it all together. Now, Denise, we didn't get to talk about this, but my situation's a little unique because actually my oldest has never lived with us when I had 7 because we adopted 4 in 2012. And so he was in his first year of college. So the most I've ever had home at the same time was 6. So.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if there's a big difference between 6 and 7, but.
Probably not, since the 7th one was a bit older. So yeah. Okay. So, but I like the fact that you said you didn't always keep it all together. Yeah. Can you expound on that just a little bit? There's going to be somebody out there who's watching all these YouTube videos and Pinterest and Instagram, and they're going to think all these women living the mom life have it all together. So could you just shed a little bit of light on that?
Absolutely, because in every day there's always things that you don't plan on. So you could have had a sick child all night and you're just so happy you got a shower that week. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be the time someone's going to stop by. And it's just really hard to give yourself grace in those earlier years and even in the later years. I mean, there are just so many things that happen in a day. And there are times when having a clean house is not supposed to be your first priority because there are more important things happening. And so we just have to give ourselves that grace. And I remember one time I had a friend who would come over and I always would feel badly if my house was a mess. And one day my husband said, what we're going to do for you is we're going to put a shovel beside the door. And if it's ever really messy and there's toys all around, you can just shovel your way to the couch. And honestly, it just took the pressure off. It's kind of like mentioning that elephant in the room and just giving yourself permission to be human.
So now I just want to pause that right here and just mention that I just think it is just so important that we give ourselves that opportunity to just be human and give ourselves some grace. And I also want to back up and point out that I mentioned even here that we have those young homemakers who are watching Pinterest and Instagram or other YouTube channels, and they see these other women living the mom life and they think they have it all together. But as Karen pointed out, even as a young mom, and even today as a seasoned homemaker, and she still has some teens at home, that she doesn't always have it all together. So I'm looking over here at my iPad to see what are some of the comments that are coming in because I wanted to be sure that I catch those. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that people know that we don't always have it always together. And even Miss Denise doesn't always have it all together. And I'm going to share one of my episodes in just a little bit. And then the other thing that I like that Karen gets into is we also talk about the decision to be a stay-at-home mom. And I even point out that it's kind of interesting that we even have such a title, a stay-at-home mom. But she talks about the decision in regards to that. So let's hear what she has to say about that. And then we'll go on from there.
I would say that in life, there are always hard things to every decision you make. If you stay home, it is true that the finances might be harder.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to work, it is true that having the time you need at home or with your kids is going to be harder or might be harder.
Mm-hmm.
And keeping up with things at home might be harder. So both are hard.
Yeah.
You're choosing your hard. So I would say that you have to think what would be best for us, what are our goals, and then understand that within those goals and meeting those goals, working toward those things, it's going to be hard because either decision is going to have hard places in it. You just have to choose your hard.
I like that. Choose your hard. What does self-care look like for you? Because I heard you say that there were times when you just felt like you needed a kid break.
Yeah.
What does self-care look like for you? And I think that's important that as moms, we do take care of ourselves.
Right. Well, self-care for me looks like I'm morning out to have coffee with a friend. And of course, when the kids are little and your husband's working, sometimes the best you can do is he's down there with the kids watching a movie and you're up having a bubble bath.
Mm-hmm.
I just think you
Hold on, take me away.
Amen. And you have to think about things you enjoy doing. You have to be pouring into yourself, whether that be going out for a manicure and getting your hair done, or getting together with a girlfriend, going out shopping by yourself. Honestly, there were times when if he would take the baby, I felt like it was self-care to vacuum the floor.
Just to have that little moment of quiet where you just do something you've been wanting to get done in the house and not have to stop and, do something else.
Yes.
Was the family table a thing in your home?
Yes.
Mealship. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I grew up with this, the typical American family. We ate supper together, and that was important to me as well. So that's always been something that we've done. We definitely have our supper meal together every night that it's possible, and we eat fairly early. So that kind of is in between anything that might be an afternoon activity, anything that might be an evening activity. Mm-hmm. And we definitely have always sat around that supper table with the kids.
Okay, so now I'm going to stop sharing that and come on back over here to you guys, because I just wanted to share that snippet so that we could just have a little bit of a sense of some of the things that Karen had to share with us, being an experienced homemaker. So let's just talk a little bit about that. So let's talk a little bit about that. And I see Debbie Joe has joined us. Wendy has joined us. So, hey, thank you guys for joining us. And then you guys are talking to Debbie and talk among each other. So I'm just going to let you guys do that. But now let's talk about a little bit about what Karen had to say about also taking a little bit of time to pour into yourself or minister to yourself. Let's talk about that just briefly, and then we'll get back into some other things. But yes, one of the things that she did mention was that you also have to spend some time caring for yourself. And she mentioned that sometimes it may be difficult to even get a shower. And when we think about that, if you heard last week's episode, that was one of the stories that Steph told about her experience when her kids were really little. They're still little, but when they were probably babies and toddlers. And she said she had gone 10 days and she realized she hadn't had a shower in 10 days. She was just so overwhelmed. And so one of the things that she's managed to figure out is that it's important to, one, give yourself some grace, and two, to set priorities. And one of the questions that came out of that session with Steph last week was a woman who said, I clean all the time, but my house is still a mess. And that requires some unpacking. There's probably a couple of things in there that we will get to in just a little bit. But the first thing I want to point out is that Steph gave some of the same advice that Karen gave, which is to give yourself some grace. And then the other thing Steph said, which echoes exactly what Karen said, was to set priorities. Oh, goodness, excuse me. Was to set priorities. So that was a continuing theme. Those were two continuing themes in both shows. So when Steph talked about the simplest morning routine ever, what she figured out that if she got these 5 things done, these were most important. And that was one, to get dressed, to make her bed, to unload the dishwasher or put away any dishes she had washed the night before and were drying in the dish rack, start the laundry, and wipe down the bathroom. And she used to follow the Fly Lady cleaning system, and she still does to a certain extent, but she's done it long enough now that she's tweaked it just a little bit to make it work more for her. But here's her caveat. Again, her top 5: get dressed, make the bed, unload the dishwasher or put away any drying dishes from the dish rack, start the laundry, and wipe down the bathroom. But she says if you can't do all 5, pick the 3 most important that make sense for you and your family. In other words, set priorities. So that's one of the things that if you clean all the time and you feel like your house is always a mess, you're going to have to set some priorities and figure out what is the most important thing that you need to do. So there's that. Excuse me, patience. I'm a little bit snuffly tonight, guys. I'm still getting over my bronchitis. So for the most part, it's gone, but I still have the occasional snuffle and cough. So please excuse me there. So Patience says her struggle is real. Patience, tell us about your struggle. Type it in the chat box, and then I'll come to see what questions you put in there in just a second. But trust me, I get it. So now let's talk about what a routine is, because one of the things that I like to say to my young homemakers and even my seasoned homemakers is if you find your house at 6s and 7s, just step back into your routine. Just step into your routines and to start where you are. So first of all, let me say, well, what is a routine? And a routine is a series of tasks or behaviors that have become a routine. And if you don't have a routine, particularly you patients, if you don't have a routine, then you can either create one or you can borrow a routine from someone else that has already fought that battle. Like you can use Stephanie's simplest morning routine ever. You can use the Fly Lady system's morning and weekly routines, or you can do Clean Mama. There's a bunch of different methods that have already been developed. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. So think about establishing a routine that works for you and writing it down. You want to write it down and put it in your planner. So let's say you have this planner, and boy, my planner is a hot mess. I got notes all over it, notes all inside it. You can tell that I use it. But put those things in your planner, and I should probably also show you. Let me get this one. I got stuff all over the place because I've been working in here. So things are definitely at 6s and 7s in this office. So I've got things all over the place, but one of the things you can do is write those things down in your planner. And Debbie Jo, you can see that I've been using those stickers you sent me. So, but put those things in your planner, either pretty plan like that, just write them in, or make a list. It doesn't matter what, but establish a routine that is a series of tasks that become a habit, that become a routine that you just do second nature. So there's that. So now let me give you guys a real life example, and then I'll go and take a look at what you guys are saying in the chat. So, I have shown you guys from time to time on my YouTube channel when my house has been a mess. And I think I've got another one coming up, or it may have already deployed. I'm not sure. But Miss Denise gets things at 6s and 7s, just like everybody else. So here's my story. I was recently very overwhelmed and anxious. I was away last week for my granddaughter's high school graduation. And when I go away, particularly if I'm going to be gone for more than 3 days, I like to make sure the house is spotless when I leave. I want all the laundry caught up. I want all the rooms clean. I want a spick and span house when I leave so I come back to a clean house. Well, for a number of reasons, there was a lot going on in my life. It was definitely chaotic. I did not get all that done. So when we got home late on Monday night, we didn't get home till about 11:30 on Monday night, 11:30 p.m. We unpacked and crashed. So on Tuesday morning, when I got up and I looked around, I was just like, the house was a mess. The kitchen was a mess. We brought back a week's worth of dirty laundry. And Monday is when I typically do my weekly home blessing. Well, we got home Monday night, so that didn't happen. Tuesday's usually my free day. And I wanted it all done. And then the living room was even cluttered because I had been unpacking and unboxing some new products and just yada, yada, yada. The house was a mess. And I was just overwhelmed. I wanted it all done. I wanted it all done right now. And I was depressed. And so, because I was overwhelmed, my house was not giving me a hug. I did nothing. Now, luckily for me, that particular Tuesday was the day for me to meet with Fly Lady Cat. We meet every other Tuesday. We do a phone conference. And I told her how I was feeling and what was going on. And so the first thing she had me do was make a list of all that I needed to do. She said, take out a piece of paper right now and just make a list. And so I made a list of all the things that I needed to do and that I wanted to have done in the house. And then she said, okay, now that you've made a list of all the things that you need to do, now set priorities. What needs to be done first? What has to be done first? What has to be done second? And what has to be third? And one of the things that we talked about was the first thing that I should probably do was to go around to the various rooms and pick up all the things that didn't belong there, put them in a basket or a box, and take them and put them away. So use that first opportunity, that first block of time to just put things away that were out of order. The second thing that she suggested that I do then was to organize. So those things that had a home, to get those things organized and put back into place. And then the third thing for me to do would be to do my weekly home blessing. And once that was out of the way, then do any deep cleaning or zone cleaning that needed to happen. I tell you guys what, after talking with her, making a plan and writing it down, I felt so much better. I could just I could just breathe. Once I knew what the plan was, I felt better. I didn't feel so overwhelmed. So our apron note for today, and Blue Skies is on, so I'm going to let her go ahead and choose the winner for the apron note. But our apron note for today, and I'm saying it a little early because this is not where I wanted to put it, but it just makes sense to say it right here. If you are overwhelmed, spend 10 minutes prioritizing. Again, if you're overwhelmed, spend 10 minutes prioritizing. And that was what we did. The 10 minutes that it took to just make a list and prioritize was so beneficial. And here's the advice that I would normally give to my homemakers, particularly my young homemakers. So why I wasn't giving that advice to myself on that particular time, I don't know. But what I would usually say is just step in where you are. Just start the daily and weekly routines. Just step in where you are. But for some reason on that day, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted it all done at once, but we made a plan and went from there. So now let's talk about what my usual daily morning routine is like. And it's very similar to steps from the secret swap. It's a daily swish and swipe, which means I'm cleaning the bathroom, I'm swishing the toilet, and I'm wiping down the mirror and the sink in the bathrooms. And I do that in all three bathrooms. So a daily swish the toilet and swipe of the sink and the mirror. I make my bed because that's the largest surface in the room. I start the laundry. So I do a load of laundry every day. I unload the dishwasher and I get dressed. So those are the 5 things that I do every day. That's my daily morning routine. And it's very similar to Stephanie's daily morning routine. And then on top of that, I will do my work in my zones, which is deep cleaning. So this is week 3, I believe. So week 3 would be like the main bathroom and one other room or something like that. So I would pick 4 things to do in those areas for this particular week and do those. So like I said, on top of that, I work my zone, so which is the deep cleaning that helps to keep my house in order. So that's what I could have done. Or since I got back Monday night, I could have called Monday. When I look at my weekly cleaning, I could have called Monday my free day and Tuesday the day for my weekly home blessing. Or like I said, I could have just stepped in where I was and said, okay, Monday is a wash because we didn't get home until late. So there will be no weekly home blessing this week. Tuesday is still going to be my free day. Wednesday is going to be my plan day. Thursday is going to be my errand day as usual. And then Friday is going to be car and purse day, Saturday family day, Sunday renew your spirit as usual. And then with my 5 daily pieces of the morning routine, I could have done that. But I didn't get to that until I had that conversation with Fly Lady Cat, just because I was so overwhelmed. So Mickey Blue Skies just sent me the note to let me know who the winner is of the apron note, and it's Kathleen Hanson. So Kathleen, send me your mailing address, and you want to send it to me at thisandthatwithdenise@gmail.com. Send me your mailing address at thisandthatwithdenise@gmail.com, and I will mail that out to you. Don't put your mailing address here in the chat because this is public. It's not private, and we don't want anything weird to happen as a result of that. So there's that. Okay, so my question to all of you then is, what is your top 5? What are the top 5 things that you need to do that make sense for you to help keep your house all together? Because what you don't want to do is clean every day and your house still be a mess. So what is your top 5 that you need to do to help you stay on top of things? And as Stephanie said, if you can't do all 5, just do 3, but pick the most important 3 that make sense for you. So that's one of the things that you can do if you clean all the time and your house is a mess. You may need to, 1, prioritize. Make a list of all that needs to be done and prioritize. So now let me back up and see what some of the comments are, and we'll go from there, because I know I missed quite a few. So Patience was going to tell me what it is that she does. So because her struggle is real. Let's see, Mickey and Debbie Jo are talking. So Patience says she's a teacher minister wife and working on her dissertation. Girl, oh my goodness, you need a wife. Number one, that's what you need. Patience, you need a wife. If you've got all that going on, it's going to be very difficult. But here's what you'll want to do. Set your priorities. If you're working on your dissertation, that's almost a full-time job in itself. So depending upon whether or not you have any children, and you don't say mother in here, you say teacher, minister, wife, and working on your dissertation. So maybe there's no littles to bog you down. What you might consider doing is asking for help from your partner. Ask your partner to help you with some of those household tasks and decide which of those things absolutely have to be done. And yes, your time is definitely limited. So decide what's most important. And I'll tell you what, a clean house right now is not, because if you've got all this going on, the dissertation is going to be priority, as well as the teacher, minister, and wife. All you've got 4 things that take priority going on. So you might consider hiring someone to help you clean the house until you're done with the dissertation. And then you can kind of see what you and your partner can do together. But yeah, you might need a housekeeper to help you there. Otherwise, if that's something that absolutely is not in the budget, then set priorities on what absolutely has to happen and share some of those responsibilities with your partner, such as the cleaning, the cooking, and the laundry. You might need to think about that. So Ronnie says when she gets into her moods that sometimes my videos helps her to get up and start working. And you know, Ronnie, when I get into those moods, then sometimes when I talk to Fly Lady Cat, it does help. She's like, okay, so this is what you need to do. Like bam, 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 bam. And then I get it done. I talk to her twice a week and it is so helpful. So Artful Dawn says, I've been doing great work. Thank you. Thank you. Wendy's listening while she's doing dinner. Let's see. So Ronnie says a planner is good to have. Her issue, she wants to keep it in her purse, but her purse is not big enough, so she's been looking for a new one. The ones she has are more winter purses. Well, here's the thing, Ronnie. Now, I think I gave that planner away, but this particular planner here is too big for a purse. I'm going to take you off here so you can see the whole thing. This planner is the Day Designer. This is the, I think it's by, is it Britt Whitney or something like that? Is that her name? I don't remember who it is, but this is the Day Designer. And I use this one for business. It's very nice. This one is the She's in Her Apron planner. And you guys know this is the one by Kimmy Hughes from She's in Her Apron. And then I had another one. This is one of the Happy planners, and it's a little bit smaller, but there's even smaller ones, and I don't have that one. I gave that one away, but you can get smaller planners that are probably about this size or even a little bigger. So you can do that, and they will fit into a purse. So you can do that. You can get a planner that's about this size, and these will fit into a summer purse depending upon the size. So Ronnie, you just need to find a planner that's the right size for you. So Debbie Jo, this one is the Day Designer, and I've got them all linked in the description box. This one is the She's in Her Apron planner, and I don't have it linked because I just wasn't thinking about that for today's episode. And then this one is the Happy planner, And you can get those at Joann's and Michael's and those kind of places, as well as I've got some links on Amazon. Uh, Linda, Linda, you are quite welcome. I try to keep it real, and that's the one thing is that I don't want my young homemakers to think that people always have it together, because I don't care who you are. There's always a time when life happens. Sometimes life happens to some of us more than others. And Kathleen, don't forget, you are the winner of today's apron note. Um, but yes, we want to prioritize. Let's see. So Karen says she finds that she can help someone else with advice, but forget to do that for herself. And Karen, don't we all? And I am the same way. It was like, why couldn't I just say, okay, Denise, just step in where you are. Today is Tuesday, and this is your free day, and this is what we're going to do. But for some reason that day, and it could have just been from fatigue of being back from being gone for a week, and some of the stuff that I left to get away from when I went for our vacation into the graduation popped up again when we got back. So I just had a lot going on. So okay. Now the Equal Press Planner, I don't have my Equal Press. Oh, here it is. This is my Equal Press, and it's like a disc planner. And this size is a good size for me because it fits into just about any handbag that I have. Uh, all right. So Dawn says she just bought a Co-Ready 750. It's a sweep, mop, and vacuum robot. Oh, and her life is completely transformed. Oh, I need to get one of those, and you are liberated from those routines. Sweep, mop, and vacuum robot. I may have to try to see about getting. Max, put it on the list for us to try to figure out how to get one of those. And then, hey, Mel, it's good to have you here. Okay, so the top 5 for Dawn is dressing and bed making, watering plants, and fridge management are 2 important ones. Yes, I agree with that. And then for summer, well, spring and summer, my top 5 also shifts a little bit because once I start gardening, I have to go outside and garden, water the plants. So sometimes it's a toss up between getting the yoga done and getting the gardening done. But there's that. So Karen says she always wants the living room picked up because that's what everyone sees first. Bathroom, and then making sure the dishes get done. Now, that's one of the things that that Stephanie really emphasized. And also, Dana White from A Slob Comes Clean also emphasizes it's getting the dishes done first. She said, wherever you are, start with the dishes first because number one, that's where you've got to spend time. You've got to make meal, and it's always good to start there. Okay, so now then, okay, that's something else. Whitney English is the creator of the day designer. And I do have that in the description box. And then Blue Skies just posted the link for Kimmy's planner. So now I have a question. Let me find it so that I can get to it. So one person says that my struggles are keeping my room smelling fresh. I haven't been able to use as many candles as I would like since she's been having breathing issues. So what can she do now? Now that's a hard one. If you've got some breathing issues, then you really want to use a scent that's as fresh as possible. So maybe you might consider using a cleanser. Like some of the Mrs. Meyer's fragrances have a very clean scent, or just something that is lemon and lime, or even a vinegar, which once you clean with vinegar, the smell goes away. So you might consider something like that. That could give you a nice clean scent as well. If you're having trouble with breathing, I don't think I would light candles. Oh, Debbie Joe, we had such a good time. Oh my goodness, it was such a nice time. Hey Dee, glad to see you. So Karen wants to know, how do I use all my planners and keep up with them? Well, I have one that I use for business. So I have this one I use for business. So this is the one I use for Apron Diva and YouTube. So this is my business one. And then this one is the one that I use for homemaking. And it's really good because this is that she's in her apron, and because it's designed pretty much to go with the Fly Lady system, which is what I use. So it really works out well for me. Some of the other ones I was going to use for like goal planning. This one, I've got my goal planning notebook in, but I haven't looked at it for a while. And some of the others I might have, like another one I might have gotten just so that I can work on the vision board and stuff like that. But for the most part, I stay in two. If I want to work on my vision board, then I'll get out this one. This is my newest inkwell press, and it's pretty large. So if I want to work on the mission board for the month, and I do like to do that, then what I'll do is I'll just work on the mission board, which is like this. Because then I can put the goals and things, the areas that I want to work on in the individual spaces. And then I plot those out on my daily planner or in my business planner. So typically that's what I'm doing with those. Don't forget, you guys, give me a thumbs up tonight. So Karen wants to know. Okay. Karen wants to know, have I tried the Get It Together People Planner from Living on a Dime to Go Rich? No, I have not. She got the ebook and can print her own pages. I don't follow Living on a Dime to Go Rich at all. But let's see if I could find my vision board. It was in my goal setting planner. Yeah, I don't follow Design on a Dime. I just don't follow her. Okay, so my vision board, I created a vision board, and my 2022 one is not in here, but this is my Inkwell Press planner. And so in 2021, this is my 2021 vision board, and I made it small because I wanted it to fit in this goal planning workbook. And then my 2021 was also this size, and I put like aprons on here because I wanted to start my Apron Diva business. And so 2022 is this same size, but I don't know why it's not in here because I did work on it. But this is my goal setting planner, and it's time for me to look at what I've done at the end of the first quarter because we're almost ready to get, into the last month of the second quarter and haven't done that yet. So there's that. But the mission board, what I do with that, and that's not what I meant to talk about tonight. And I don't have one that's already filled out. So let's say this is the mission board. So for January, there's categories here for everything. Like you can see, this one is self-care. It's like me time. So I've got mani-pedi facials. And then I've got this area here is this blank. I can write in what I want. This one here is more lunch with family and friends. Over here is like health. So I'm doing yoga, home physical therapy, meds. Here is home stuff, deep cleaning, decluttering. So I use this to categorize things that I want to get done for the month. That's what that's for. And that's how I use that. And I threw away my planner from last year where I had all that stuff all filled out. So don't have them here to show you. Okay, so there's that. Okay. Oh, Debbie Joe, you have an apron. Yes, you have the red, white, and blue plaid. That's called the Connie for Americana. Yeah, that's the Connie. Yes, it does go with jeans. All right. Okay, so there's that. So now let's move on to one other piece because I've gone down a rabbit hole, which I did not intend to do. So for those of you that jumped on to hear about I clean all the time that my house is a mess, let me just give you guys a quick refresh about what's what. So I gave you guys my real life example of my hot mess. And then a few people told me what their top 5 was. So Kim says she uses the staple ARC system and has a planner that she carries with her and 8.5 by 11 notebooks. And I've got that as well. This is my staple ARC system. This is my ARC. And I've got things in here that I like notebook and planning for YouTube and Apron Diva and Instagram and stuff like that. And then I've got a tool which I've got the budget in. And I really like this size for budgeting and for that kind of stuff. So there's that. And then Dee has a green and daisy apron. Yes, and you look so pretty in it. So for the lady with the breathing problem, so Blue Sky, she recently cleaned her laundry room, craft room, and litter box with a liquid Tide in the water, and the scent lasted longer, but it wasn't overpowering. So that's something with liquid Tide. She used that to give things a nice, fresh smell. Dawn says her hot mess is always dishes. So you know what, Dawn, what you might want to consider doing with that is as soon as dinner or the meal is done, immediately wash the dishes and try to get everyone involved in the after dinner cleanup. You, the hubby, the kids, everyone just jump in on after dinner cleanup and it gets done so quickly. While you're getting the food put away, putting it into dishes, into containers to store it in the fridge or the freezer or whatever, the hubby or an older teen can be running a load of dishwater and getting that washed up or getting things rinsed to go into the dishwasher. Even the little ones, as little as 3, can carry their plate over from the table to the sink or from the table to the counter. And then someone can help wipe down the table. Now, they may not wipe it down as nicely as you do, but they can help. So think about that. And if everyone chips in, then you're done in record time. Elle Hayes, Elle, tell us your name, is still working on the habit of using her planner. She knows she needs to schedule her days better to get more structure. Things always go smoother when she does. So this is what you might consider doing. Taking some time every evening before you get into bed to work on your planner. And it could be like if you go to work during the day and then you're home and you've got a little bit of time in the evening, then once you've got your PJs on, maybe get a cup of tea or just something warm to drink, sit at your table, and then work in the planner to get things set up for the next day. Or you can do that first thing in the morning, get the planner set up for the next day, just depending upon what your schedule is. Because you're right, it does help you schedule to help your day goes better. But the important thing is to get the planner time scheduled. If you get the planner time scheduled, then you'll get things done. So there's that. So Dee says her hot mess is always the floors. And floors can be, and I think you're in an area, Dee, where it's warm a lot. So you guys are probably outside a lot, and then you're tracking in sand or dust and that kind of thing. So again, maybe every night before you go to bed, if you had a simple mop like a Swiffer, which is real easy to use, or an O-Cedar, just something that's really quick and light that you can use to just kind of wipe it up real quick, go that way. Kim's hot mess is dishes as well. But again, after after each meal. If you're home all day, after each meal, just kind of rinse them up. If you've got a dishwasher, rinse them and then set them in the dishwasher. If you don't have a dishwasher, wash them up after the meal. Or if you can't do it right then, rinse them off and put them in a basin, like a little dish pan under the sink or somewhere out of the way, and then get to them as soon as you can. So T Mom says she starts at breakfast with a sink of hot soapy water and an empty dishwasher. We wash everything throughout the day, all the pots and pans, and load the dishwasher. Yes, I agree completely with that. Start that sink with hot soapy water, and as you clean those, as you empty the pots and pans from whatever you cooked with them, get them washed out and put away, and then rinse your other dishes and things and put them in the dishwasher. Oh, so the method products, you can water them down and it lightens the smell and gives you twice for your money. I do like the method products, and I think Blue Skies might like them as well. And then Ronnie says she cleans the kitchen after each meal, and I do that too. It's always, I just like for my kitchen to be clean. And then when it is, I feel like it's giving me a hug. If the kitchen is clean, I feel like I can manage everything else. So Debbie says all the stuff in the basement and garage is her husband's and he doesn't see the need. Then start a garage project. Just start a project to kind of clean that stuff up. Yeah, he doesn't see the need to declutter. Oh, D, you and me both. Now, decluttering queen. So we've got two D's. We've got D at D Lovely Life, and then we've got the decluttering queen. She says her hot mess is paper clutter, and paper clutter is a chore. But this is what Fly Lady Cat has taught us to do. She teaches us to take 1 inch of paper every day and work with it as part of your morning routine. So on Monday, you want to get, if you've got, let's say you take all your paper, put it in one stack somewhere in your house, say in your office or your bedroom or somewhere. And then on Monday, you're going to take 6 inches of that paper stack, and then you're going to put it in a tray. And then on Monday, you're going to take out 1 inch, which is about like a knuckle. You're going to take out 1 inch of that paper, and then you're going to you're going to go through it, and some of it is going to be just trash. And you can just throw it in the trash. Some of it you'll need to file. Some of it you'll need to take action on. So put it in two separate piles. There's a pile to file and a pile to take action on. And you put that in a certain little box or basket or folder. And then on Wednesday is the day you take action on your paper, because that's your plan day. So you pay your bills, you file anything that needs to be filed, and you take action on whatever's in there that needs to take action on. And it won't be a lot because you only started out with about that much. And some of it you threw away, you tossed, some of it you filed, and some of it you had to have a bill to pay or whatever. And that's helpful. Dawn says paperwork, that's hidden. Yeah, paper is hidden clutter, but it can take up a lot of space. Melinda says she's just decluttering her stuff. And that's all you can do, really, Melinda, is just start with decluttering your stuff. But once you've got your stuff done and it's taken over the basement and the garage and all of that, and you feel like, okay, something needs to happen, have the conversation with him to see, can we take some action on some of this stuff? I get it. Okay. So now let's get back to, because we're almost out of time. So now let's get back to talking about I clean all day, but my house is still a mess. Let's unpack that. One of the things that I'm going to put this here in the chat box is that the first thing you probably need to do is to declutter. Because here's the thing. You can't organize clutter. So if you've got a lot of stuff and you're cleaning all the time and your house is still a mess, you've probably got too much stuff. And so you need to declutter. Spend 15 minutes a day decluttering, and that should prove helpful. And Dawn at the Minimum Mom has a decluttering course, and she's got a workbook that goes along with it that says declutter your home in 15 minutes a day. I've not gone through it. I think Debbie Joe has it or someone else has it that have told me about it. And they said it looks pretty good. I started looking through it a little bit today, just kind of glancing through it. So I think it's got a lot in there. There's a lot to unpack in there. But start with decluttering because, you can't organize clutter. So spend 15 minutes a day doing that. And then when you work on that decluttering, what you want to do is some's going to go into the trash, some you're going to donate, and then some you're going to organize. So you're going to have 3 different boxes as you're decluttering. One set of stuff is going to go into the trash in a black trash bag so people can't see what you put in there and take it out. One set's going to go into a donate box and not a box that you wrote donate on and want back. You're just going to put it in the box so you can close it up and drop it off at the donation center. And then the other things you're going to want to organize in the space where they're going to live. And once you get rid of things that are clogging up your home, it's just so much easier to clean. And I've got lots of stuff that I'm still working through. And Melinda says her hubby doesn't see it as a mess. I get it. You should see my husband's garage or see his studio. But right now I'm working on my own stuff because I can't talk about anybody else because I got my own stuff that I need to get rid of. Once we get my stuff done. And the interesting thing about that too is that when he sees me working on things, it inspires him to work on things as well. So Mindy, you can try that. Now let me give you guys an example. This is one of my sisters, and it's not Blue Skies. It's not the one that's on with us right now, but I was helping her pack up some things because she was moving. And she didn't declutter prior to moving. And I helped her pack up some boxes. I helped her pack up her dishes. And you guys know how I love dishes. But I packed up all the dishes and things that I thought she could use. And I certainly packed up more than she could possibly use because she's only one. And then she had all the things packed up and put into storage. When she unpacks to move into her new place, it's going to be a nightmare because there's so much stuff that needed to have been decluttered. But since I was doing half of the packing, I couldn't declutter her stuff. So I just had to pack it. So it's going to be a hot mess when she gets ready to unpack it. So declutter before you box things up for a move. And then the other thing, if you feel like you're cleaning all day, but your house is a mess, maybe you need to also work on clutter stops. And this is from Fly Lady Cat. And what a clutter stop is to, if there's a place in your house that regularly collects things, like this sofa and this futon in this room in my office, I'll be working on something at the desk or somewhere else, and I'll bring it in and I'll set it here on this sofa and I'll go through some stuff. But since I'm not in here all the time or nobody's sitting over there much, I'll get up, go out of the room, and I might leave stuff there. For example, that right there is a bag of, right here. When I unpacked, I thought, oh, these are toiletries that I'm going to need when I go away on Sunday. So I don't want to put these things away. So I set it right there. I got stuff over there in the box that I was working with and some things that I was unpacking. So I'm like, that's a hot spot or an easy spot for things to accumulate because it's a flat surface. So one of the things that she has us do is a clutter stop where 4 times a day, after breakfast, after lunch, after dinner, and before bed, you just kind of walk around and you look to see where are things that are where they don't belong. And like, again, like right here, I'll come in here and I'll set a book on top of that fax machine. Why do I set it there? Well, so I can see it, but that's a clutter stop. So I should pick that up and put it where it belongs, which is on the nightstand beside my bed. Okay. Oh, Joy is here from England. Thank you, Joy. It is always good to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Oh, yes. Make sure you label your keep stuff. You don't want your husband throwing out things accidentally. I don't have that problem, Ronnie. Sometimes what happens is I'll put stuff in the donate box and put it out in the garage for him to take, and then he doesn't take it when I want him to take it, and then I end up looking in the box and taking some stuff back in the house. So that's the problem there. Yes, Decluttering Queens. Debbie Joe says to check out Organize 365 on YouTube and on her podcast. She is amazing. I picked up the Sunday basket idea from her, and I made a Sunday basket for myself, and it has been very helpful regarding paper. So yes, do that. Blue Skies is saying good night. So thank you guys for tuning in. So now the other thing that I wanted to say for those who clean all the time and the house is still a mess is to get your family involved in the homekeeping. Get the children to help clean up and put toys away. They can help put laundry away. They can help with the clutter stops. And you can teach them that term. Okay, it's time to do a clutter stop. And you walk around the house, you see things where they shouldn't be, and get people to take them to where they belong. And then the other important item is to make sure you have the needed storage bins or facilities to put things away. If your kids have toys all over the place, do they have a toy bin that they can put the toys in? Do they have a little shelf that they can put things neatly on the shelf for their books and toys, whatever? If they don't have the appropriate tools, that is part of the problem. So I like the idea of that little robot kind of thing that one of the ladies mentioned tonight. I'm going to look into getting one of those. I like that idea. And Tracy, hey, it's been a while since I've seen you. Thank you. I'm glad you said this information was good. And everybody's saying good night to Blue Skies and good night to everyone that's jumping off. So here's my question. Oh, so now I've got Happy Meal. So let me share with you guys the Happy Meal, and then I'll give you the question of the day. I got 2 sets of Happy Meal today. I could not believe it. I got Happy Meal twice. So I went to the P.O. box, and I have this little box in there, and it was from the Composure Essentials. Excuse me. Composure Essentials. And I thought, what can this be? I didn't order anything. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. When I opened it up, there's a nice little note in here. And look how pretty and how everything in the box just really matches. Just so pretty. And this is a note, just a really nice little thank you note from Julie Lovedale. And she's one of my viewers. She's the one that's on the community tab. Her and her little girl have the Ashley Mommy and Me apron set. It's a pink and black apron set. There's one on her and one on her little girl. And she sent me this nice little thank you note for just the things that I do on YouTube. And then in the box was this bag. And there's 2 little pieces of candy that are ginger chews. And it says Prince of Peace. Ginger chews. So there's 2 of those. And a coupon. So some coupons in here for a coupon code. That's really kind of a good idea. I haven't thought to offer coupons. But she said that I've inspired her to start her own business. And so she started a soap business. So now in her box, there is a prayer for today. And it says, whatever you do, do it with all your heart, from Colossians 3:23. And then the box is full of different kinds of soaps that she's made. This one is like Baby Bar. And this is a... this one is called Reprieve, and they all just smell so good. There's like 5 or 6 different ones in here, and then look how nicely they're wrapped like that. And this is something that's really kind of cool. It's got like a little bottle of lotion. It looks like deodorant, and it is a skin soother lotion, and then chapstick. Well, I shouldn't say chapstick, lip balm. So there's that. And then look here, a butterfly. Isn't that cute? So I got all of these goodies in here, all these soaps, the butterfly, the little candies and stuff. and a lovely, lovely note. So you guys know I have to write a letter. And then also, another package. Now, this one came from Debbie Johnson. So, and look, she sent me an apron. And this one is handmade. Isn't this adorable? Look how cute that is. And it's got some really deep pockets. Like, look at the pockets here. And then in the pockets was this little package of note cards. And then she also made me this lovely, lovely little tea towel. And she embroidered on the tea towel. And there's embroidery on the apron. So isn't that nice? I was like, oh my goodness. I was showing my husband. And then I called Blue Skies and said, oh, Mickey, you've got to come over and see what I got. So her and I were oohing and ahhing over the soap. And so I shared, one of the bars of soap with her. So there's that. And then I just been reminded, let me also share my screen so that I can remember to let you guys know that we are having continuing our anniversary sale, and we are having surprise boxes. And surprise box 1 is a $50 value, but it's for $35, and surprise box 2 is a $45 value, and it is available for $31. So be sure and check those out. They're limited supply. Can't tell you what's in them because they're a surprise. So there's that. And then everything else you guys can just kind of check out at your leisure. So there's that. But yes, weren't those, who makes the soaps? So it's called Composure Essentials. And let's see, do I see her? I don't see a website on here, but I'll write her name in here. Composure. And I don't see a website yet. She's just getting her business started. So, but I don't see a website yet. So the names, the ingredients, and all of that is on here, but I don't see a website yet. So that's probably still coming. But it's a Julie Lubdell. That's who made those soaps. So I really appreciate that. Yes, they're so pretty. So I really appreciate that. And Mind Your Matters. Yeah, we've kind of covered everything, but yeah, it's just been so much fun. So the question of the day then is, what have you learned about what to do when your house gets at 6s and 7s? Tell me in the chat or in the comment section. So what have you learned about what to do when your house gets at 6s and 7s? You can, one, just step in where you are and get started on your daily routines. But what do you think? What are your thoughts? And I do want to invite you to check out my last video, which is another unusual day in my life. And I think in that one might have been when the kitchen was a mess. And then be sure to check out Apron Diva's surprise boxes. And also our new sponsor, Teddy Blake. And this is the last week that Teddy Blake will be our sponsor for Homemaking with Purpose. So guys, we have been on over an hour. I thought we were just going to be in for like 45 minutes. But yes, please catch the replay just for the house buttoned up. Yeah, we do need to. I certainly need to get mine buttoned up. Oh. So Don says, I need to do a video on graciously thanking people for graciousness or to be that person. The art of handwritten thank you notes is gone. What etiquette should the homemaker know of? You know what? I can do that. And to tell you the truth, Dawn, I've been working on letter writing and note writing in several of my last videos. I'm really working at engaging in slower living. At least I'm trying to. This past week has not been that, and then today was not that. But one of the things that I do in the evening just to kind of relax is I sit down and I have a cup of tea and I write a letter or a note. And so I've got like two new people to write a letter or a note to today because I got, two new things to thank you. And then I'm also working on a master class on how to write a letter and how to write a note. So it is just so funny that you say that because it validates the need for this particular masterclass because people do need to write notes. So when we were in, so I've covered all the topics, guys. So I've covered everything we were going to cover. So now I'm just chatting. So when I was in Memphis for my granddaughter's graduation, she got so many nice things as graduation gifts. And so when we got ready to leave, her mom said, well, we're going to have a thank you note writing party like next week. So she's going to have her sit down and just spend a day writing thank you notes to all the people that have done services or provided gifts or whatever. But it's something that people need to do. And a text message is not good enough. You need to actually write something. So I had my stationery out because I got a new pen pal today. I got her note today. And so I wrote her a letter back. And I have two different sets of stationery that I have. And I like one better than the other. But I've got this set of stationery. And it's just, let me get that off of there. So I've got this. And it's got some really kind of pretty little envelopes that go with that. Here's the envelopes for that one. And then I've got this. And then the envelopes that go with that one look like that. So that's just kind of fun. Debbie Jo's gotten a couple of my letters because she sent me a couple of nice things. So I've written back to her. And I just found that I have enjoyed letter writing so much. So, okay, people are talking about their prioritizing. So let's see, because I'm just chatting now. I shouldn't be. But yes, slowing down and simple and intentional living. Yes, just really trying to slow it down. Because like my husband said, we're not getting any younger. And I've just been too busy. So Janet says she stops and she'll look around at what she's gotten done to get energy to see if she can get enough energy to get on to the next task. Yeah, I get that too. Oh no. You got a thank you note for a friend's wedding gift in a text message. Okay. Well, I will include that some do's and don'ts in my master class. And one of them is, even if you send a text message, say, I just can't wait to say thank you, you have to follow up with a written note. Handwritten is best. Yeah. So Ronnie says her takeaways to prioritize and take time for yourself. Ha ha ha. Mindy wants to know, am I going to do a lightning round for myself? No, I would know all the answers. Oh, you enjoyed my note writing video. Good, good. There are folks of one generation who are offended when the thank you is electronic and robotic. Yes, it is. We have to think of the best way and teach it to the younger generations. Well, first of all, we really want to teach the younger generation to handwrite it, or if they don't handwrite it, to at least type it out, because we don't write in text messages and DMs like we do in written form, because we try to limit the number of keystrokes. So there are abbreviations and misspellings and stuff like that. So they need to learn to communicate on paper in a written form, number one. It just helps with the thinking. So T says her daughter, 19, wrote a beautiful handwritten old-fashioned letter to a friend in her graduation announcement. I didn't even know she could do it so well. Great, great. So Mind Your Matters said that her son mowed lawns for side money, and he's going to be writing thank you notes for that. Yeah, okay. I get it. And it does make it a personal touch, you know. And here's the thing about letters. It's like you can put them in a box. I got a box over here that I put them in. You can put them in a box and save them. And letters, handwritten letters, provides a written history that text messages don't provide. Text messages are gone. I mean, they can be retrieved and all that kind of stuff if push comes to shove or for legal purposes, but otherwise they're just gone. Whereas I can take a letter out and I can reread it. I had a letter here that I was looking at just earlier today. Like I've got two letters right here. Got a letter from my pen pal today, and then I got this letter from a YouTube subscriber and viewer. It was just a nice letter. And look, she put a little seal on the back, and it was just so nice. And, you know, she wrote it like on a card, handwritten, but it was just so nice out of the blue. And I was so pleased. So I asked my husband, I says, honey, I said, how do you feel about getting like personal letters? He said, well, how would I know? And I guess he said he hasn't gotten one in a very long time. So I thought maybe I need to write one of my letters to him. So, okay, it is time for us to be saying good night because I am just chatting now. And you guys know I try not to do that. But thank you guys for joining me. I will see you next time. Good night.